here in Evansville that wanted to hear about the Liberty Dollar, and also to give you an opportunity to ask some questions and get your head around the model in case you're not familiar with it. So let me say welcome. That would include the undercover FBI agents that are here tonight. There you go, there you go. Thank you for identifying yourself. You know, in such a situation, I'm sure that our phones are being tapped, and there has to be at least one FBI agent in here someplace, you know. But be that what it may, you know, we've never hid out. We haven't been hiding about what we've been doing. We haven't hidden our agenda. We haven't changed our agenda. We think there's something wrong with the current monetary system in the country. We think that we have a better model, and we think that citizens need to be proactive in terms of leading the government instead of following the government, particularly this damn government, which I'm not that happy with. And I think it's probably pretty mutual. I don't think they're really happy with me either, obviously. Now that they're going to come and arrest me one of these days. As you can tell, I'm really concerned. Actually, seriously, I am concerned about the country and its money, and you should be too. You all have seen higher gasoline prices and food prices. The reality is, if you've been to our site and you know which way straight up is, the reality is that prices really haven't gone up. The value of the purchasing power of the dollar has gone down, basically. That's it. You know. For those of you who haven't read the 4 gallons of gas analogy, I can give it to you in about 60 seconds, and that is simply think back about what the price of gasoline was when you started driving. We can all remember, well, I remember when I started driving. Jim Thomas, what was it when you started driving?
I was driving a horse.
You still like it like a horse. But anyway, I can remember when it was 25 cents a gallon, which means I could go down and buy 4 gallons of gas for $1. And at that time, that dollar was backed up by silver. This is 50 years later. That amount, same amount of silver still buys 4 gallons of gas today. So what does it tell you? It tells you the price of gasoline has not really gone up. It's the purchasing power of the dollar that has gone down. And that is a problem that affects all of us. Regardless if you're young or old, you know, it affects all of us, particularly older people. Older people don't work as hard and as fast and as long as younger people. I think probably a lot of people would disagree about that because young people don't have a very good rap these days. But the reality is that I'm a little older these days, and I'm not quite as swift as I used to be. Right, Jim? Right. So, in any case, it's difficult, you know, to maintain your purchasing power in this environment. It's hard to maintain the amount of money that you need to live on as you get older, when the government money is constantly stealing your purchasing power. Stealing is the word I used. Now, the government would have us believe that we have inflation. Well, I'm here to tell you that that is a total misnomer. We do not have inflation. What we have is theft of our purchasing power. Of course, the government doesn't want to tell you that. They don't want to have a theft index. They want to have an inflation index, or consumer price index. They don't have anything other than admitting that they are stealing your purchasing power. Well, that's exactly what's going on. So you really need to do something about it. Well, you really don't need to, but you'd be dumb if you didn't. The problem is that this has been going on for a long time. This isn't anything new. There's anything new about the Bush regime, you know. The reality is it's been going on, well, very clearly since 1913 when the Federal Reserve came in. But the problem is that up until recently, about 9 years ago, on October 1st, 1998, when the government screwed with the money and screwed you, you didn't have any choice, because there wasn't any other choice. There was only one money out there, you know. So along comes, this guy Bernard with his bright idea about, well, what about having gold and silver currency, Probably most of you didn't know about it back then. Sarah, you certainly did. Sarah was here when I arrived. She's almost as old as Jim over here. Not quite that. We can all tell you're not that old. Nobody's as old as you are, Jim. In any case, the thing is that 9 years ago, a brand new world broke here, right here in Evansville. I mean, this is ground zero. And, it's pretty simple. It's just a different type of currency that's 100% backed up by gold and silver. And you have a choice. You've probably heard this phrase, private voluntary barter currency. Okay? You're not forced to use it, but you'd be brain dead not to use it. I mean, one currency holds its value and appreciates in value, and the other currency loses value. I mean, like, duh. What would you rather have, an asset or a deficit? Let's see. In the last 8 years of the Bush regime, the U.S. dollar for purchasing, in the last 8 years of the Bush regime, the national debt has gone up 50%. 50%. That's an alarming rate, okay? And, not surprisingly, the U.S. dollar has lost 50%. Not by coincidence, In that same time frame, the Liberty dollar has doubled in value and is very close to going to the $50 base, which means that it will have gone from the $10 base to the $50 base, which is a 500% increase in the same time that the U.S. dollar has lost 50%. Gads. I mean, do you need a calculator? You can lose 50% or you can make 500%. 500% is enough to keep up with the price of gasoline. It's enough to keep up with everything else. The bottom line is that the government money is really bad. They don't like our money because it's really good. And they raided us right here 2 weeks ago, yesterday, matter of fact. Not a good move, but I actually see it in a very positive light. Yeah, I'm about ready to be arrested, Don't I look like a federal criminal? Don't I look like a federal criminal? I'm not a federal criminal. I don't look like one. I behave like one. I've been in the industry, the same industry, for 33 years. You know how many complaints I've had against me in the 33 years? None. You know why? Because I didn't screw anybody in the last 33 years. You can't get anybody to say that about the United States government. Matter of fact, there's a lot of countries around the world that will say the U.S. government has screwed them a lot of times. So the point here is that you have a choice, and I'm here to answer your questions, other than just rant and rave about that damn government money. But I'm actually deeply indebted for you for coming and for joining with me in the interest of the Liberty Dollar. It is a very serious endeavor. We may make light of it because we like to have fun, but the bottom line is it is a serious endeavor. Your money is serious. You should take it seriously. Your retirement is serious. Not having enough money when you retire is really serious. Not having enough money to take care of your medical expenses or your family. Not being able to take that well-deserved or well-earned vacation or go on a honeymoon or plan for your kids' education. All these things. Everything that we can think about that we use money for, you're being deprived of because they're taking the purchasing power of the money away from you. They're driving you into a lower and lower class. Why do we have a larger poverty class? Why? Well, because the middle class is slipping into the poverty class. Why do we have a smaller and smaller upper class? Why? Because the rich are getting richer and the poor are getting poorer, and the people in the middle are getting screwed. That's most of us. The strength of the American model has been the large middle class, and that middle class is getting decimated because of the money. Luckily, we do have a hero on the horizon. I'll say a few words about my friend Ron Paul.